It should have been an era of exquisite innovation, a sea of apparatus flooding the streets, aiding the evolution of humanity as they saw fit. But conflict had other plans. Now what was once the central utopia of inventors had become a fading ray of hope from a dying sun. The land now rampant with battalions of spindled, metallic, spider-like machinery piloted by the greatest aliens the Red Planet has ever seen. Few would have thought a day like this would ever arrive, especially when all the military minds focused on the positive impact of the world with their machines, forgetting the language of violence. But now survival was the key, and all they had was the pillaring tower, once known as the I-360, now the command center where the last of humanity's hope stood weak. One of many men climbed all the way to the top of this center, the rope searing insufferably through his hands, hanging 150 meters above a burning, crumbling, decimated city. With each sequential grab, letting go would mean an increased chance of death and failure. Grab, climb, tear, repeat, until, with a miracle, he made it. Laying on the command center floor, gasping the polluted air of smoke and ash, and staring at the end of the world through the large observatory windows. Gaining consciousness quickly, he stumbled towards a desk, with plans of an unfamiliar device to the side. Studying intently, he puzzled over the blueprints. It was not from the very same nature of peace and tranquility that he was once used to. This was not some apparatus or machine. It was a weapon of mass destruction, used to take lives, but not to send them to something more advanced. Without hesitation, he analyzed the weapon's functions, figuring out how to activate it and engage it in violence like it was some exam. Reading through the annotations of its creators, and with some small understanding of this weapon, he sat down at the control console, glaring towards a lever with a red ball on top. He grabbed it, and with all his force pulled it down. For a second, nothing happened. But in a moment's notice, the room was flooded with a whirring sound, then lit up rapidly with an emissive blue and white bar. Possessed by fear and excitement, he ran towards the window, witnessing the explosion that blasted towards the shore. Vision blinded, ears ringing, yet with that sense of excitement in his eyes, his beliefs were that murder nor violence was never an option to build a bridge to peace. But what other choice does man have against the fire show, scorching with screams and flames outside the tower? Looking back at the superweapon, he traced the source of the calamity outside, where all the violent aliens came from, a mothership soaring between Earth's atmosphere and its neighboring planet, slowly closing in. With the coordinates tracked by the command center's discs and satellites, the man input the direction of the next shot, hoping that it would extinguish the purge happening below. Guilt built with every key press. Acknowledging that what he was doing was not what he would normally do, but what he had to do. Before he knew it, the location was stored into the weapons director, and all that stood between the man and the return of peace was the flip of a lever, along with the sorrows of fallen alien life. He needed a moment to think. It wasn't an easy choice, regardless of the aliens' intentions towards Earth and their home planet. What would you do? Save billions or kill billions, perhaps even more? Who would ever know? His hand reached the bulb of the lever, resting, thinking, fighting a battle between the angels and the devils on his shoulders. He glanced outside again, imagining the screams of two incredibly different species. Then something else came to mind. The pain he had endured these past few years, and the climb he took to where he currently stood. Trying to focus on those moments instead and blanking out the guilt, the lever slowly lowered. The vision blinded his eyes again. His ears rang once again, but this time he didn't run. No adrenaline, more dopamine, just pure emptiness. Some may call it relief. Some may call it mourning before the aliens dying. The weapon emitted another blinding, ear-splitting blast. The mothership stood there, without knowing the crew's demise, as well as their whole Martian race. The supreme aliens stood there with a grin on their face, seeing a green planet slowly turning as red as theirs. Domination was their only thought. Expansion, reproduction, everything to grow and evolve their race. Just as the humans had done, but with more murderous intent. Suddenly a point within the bottom part of the island started glowing brighter in those supreme aliens' eyes. Not just brighter, but larger. 1 second they existed, the next, nothing. The sound of the mothership's explosion couldn't travel to at least satisfy the man's actions. Maybe it was a good thing. Maybe it didn't change anything. He would never know. Looking back at the terminal, all empty inside, mothership destroyed filled the screen. It gave him no satisfaction. Spider-like machinery raining down the streets of an already burning city did nothing to alleviate his feelings. Even the sounds of cheering from the survivors did nothing to change his mood. Stepping slowly towards the glass of the tower, fireworks started filling his vision. He could see people were cheering, thanking him. To them, he was a hero. In his own mind, he had no idea what he was. Was this worth the victory? A question that will likely never be answered satisfactorily, but he will always remain the said hero.